directors in the board of directors in the BOT. Can you give us your opinion about this? This is stipulated there in the bill.
Independent directors, meaning that they are not, well, when you are placed into a position, because you are placed there, it's difficult when you owe your position to somebody. That's why it's nice to have an independent director when he doesn't have to answer to anybody. I think it's trying to get rid of that Filipino culture wherein you owe a lot of gratitude to the person appointing you to that position. So if you're an independent director, you don't owe anybody anything, and you can make a better decision. So the board will be free from any influence.
And the next provision stated there in the bill is that it requires attestation of internal control by auditors. Some auditing firms here actually attest to internal controls, but it's not really required. And there in that bill, it now requires the attestation of the internal control. Can you give us your opinion?
Because if there is an attestation clause, it becomes already a public document. You attest something, and if there is falsification in that attestation clause, the auditor will be liable for perjury. So the purpose of having that particular clause is to make sure that the internal auditor is stating the right facts, stating the right numbers, earned or losses of the company. Because we all know that sometimes auditors, if it's an internal auditor, then they tend to be one with the company in trying to mitigate taxes, right? So if it is already if there is an attestation clause given by the auditor, this now becomes a public document because it's an authorized document. And if and when the person in authority finds out that there is a different conclusion or a different report, then the internal auditor will be liable for putting false information and will be liable for perjury.
So for this particular provision, you are saying that it's not really good, that specific provision.
No, it's good because it tends to protect the integrity of the report. Because the people, the auditor, will find it very difficult to put false information. Because by doing so, he can be liable for perjury. So he has to put the right information.
Now, one more provision is the enhanced financial disclosures. So the bill stipulates enhanced financial disclosures. Can you give us your opinion on it?
Pause nga natin.
Okay, we're going to ask you about your opinion on the enhanced financial disclosures as required by the bill.
Well, for me, it would be better for you to that particular what you said, so that anybody who will read the financial statement of the company, they would have a better picture as to its assets and as to its liabilities. Having everything documented would give a better picture, not only in terms of assets, but also in terms of liabilities of that particular company. So, in my own personal opinion, the more the information, all about the company regarding its assets, its total liability, having it in one complete document makes it easier for the person to understand whether that particular corporation is stable or not. So it's very important for the person to know everything about the company inside and out. So with that particular provision, I think it helps the public more in understanding the true situation of the government, of the corporations.
So you're saying that it's really a must, it's a requirement that the company should really disclose all their liabilities in particular.
Yes, especially if you're a publicly listed company.
Yes, yes.
corporations like Ayala, San Miguel, Meralco, they should disclose everything because it is, a corporation is owned by the stockholders, not by the board members, not by the, but by the stockholders. And the stockholders read everything about the company through financial disclosures and all the others. I think that is why the bill was made, to make sure that everybody who is investing in corporations know the total picture.
Okay. Now, we have two more provisions. The one is the loans to executives are not prohibited. We're talking about these short-term loans in which executives may borrow. It's now prohibited by the bill. So it's these short-term loans in which executives can make the short-term goals appear good while sacrificing the long-term goals. Long-term goals.
So that's your question.
So what's your opinion about it?
Regarding the prohibition?
Yes.
I think it's, well, not being an executive, because when you're an executive in a particular corporation, you wield power, including the power to approve. And being human, sometimes you tend to abuse your power. And remember that if you're an executive and you try to approve a loan for you, it is not your money but the money of the corporation. Wielding that particular power, we are but human. So I think the tendency of the law is to make sure that there is transparency and prohibition to people who are seated in power that may be the subject of abuse.
And then one more provision is that the bill prohibits the grant of stock options to directors. So it's these short-term stock options.
You know why?
With
Because it is the directors who manage the corporation. It is the directors who elect the officers.
Yes.
The directors is elected by the stockholders, and the corporation is being run by the directors. They know what is going on in the company. They have inside information. You know what happens in the States when people play with stocks inside trading? The board of directors knows what's going to happen. So if they know that the stock is going to crash and then go up the following day, if they have the option, stock options, to get a lot of stocks for themselves, because they know what's going to happen, unlike the public, because the public doesn't know what's going on with the company, because stockholders only have a chance to meet once a year during the stockholders meeting. And it is only the board of directors and the executives who knows what is going on inside the company. So if they are allowed to get stock options, then they are able to manipulate the stocks if they have that power.
And, thank you for the specific provisions. We're going to ask, what are the implications of the bill to law firms in general?
Well, we're not auditing, so we don't have to be accredited unless we're a CPA, unless we're a accounting firm. But law firms in general have specific specialization. So I believe that people who are involved in tax consultancy would be very much interested in this particular bill, especially law firms who are engaged in corporation law, because the persons or the entities that are affected by this are corporations who has to be audited. So, like any other law, the law firms would have to master this particular law if it gets passed, because it has to have its clients.
What are the implications of that bill in the Philippines?
Well, it tends to protect the public, to make sure that the companies are being audited by an independent board who accredits all these auditing firms. Bottom line is trying to make sure that the public